Hey, family. What is up? What is going on to YouTube and TikTok? Listen, this is something new for me. So, y'all bear with me as we get this party started. So, just um, come on in. Come on in my room. Anyways, so I think that it's finally time that we have this conversation about love. I feel like love is a topic that I don't know. I feel like sometimes we get it wrong, sometimes we get it right. Obviously, everybody has their different perspective about what love is and how love should feel. Me personally, I am a Bible girly, so um, I go by my word, right? And so it has been my recent discovery, not even discovery, but the realization that God has given me that um, love is not toxic, right? So I think when we are talking about love being toxic, this is more of a cultural thing. Um, and there is a such thing as having toxic relationships. I think that everybody has some toxicity in them, um, stemming from childhood, life be life and so there it is possible to have a toxic relationship, but I don't feel like there is a such thing as toxic love. Okay, not according to my word. But at any rate, I am here to help women break the cycle of. Let me get my sticky notes real quick. But I'm here to help women break toxic relationship cycles. I'll be on YouTube. I'm here to help women break toxic relationship cycles as I too have been in those toxic cycles myself. And so, God has delivered me in such a way. And so it's time that I share the things that God has been putting on my heart. So just for a little context, I was in an abusive relationship for 4 years. Okay. I was in an abusive relationship for 4 years. It was very toxic. It was very draining, to say the least. And then I finally had enough strength to walk away. And I feel like women, when we are in toxic situations, when we are in abusive situations and relationships, we often stay in those relationships because we don't have the emotional strength to walk away. At some point, we believe in our mind that this is our end all be all. And so we allow ourselves to stay stuck in situations that don't serve us, in situations that don't serve our children. And that was one of my biggest things at this point. When I decided to leave the relationship, I had 4 babies. So I have 4 babies watching me, watching my every move. And I'm a firm believer as a parent that kids do not take our advice, they take our actions. They look at the things that we do, right? So we can tell them all day, every day. Like there are, folks who will tell their kids no sex before marriage, but are out here fornicating. And so for me, I'm big on hypocrisy. And so I don't try to tell my kids to do anything that I wouldn't do, but that's another story for another day. And again, it is something that helps me to change my life around, to make sure that I'm walking in step with the Holy Spirit. But so I have these babies watching me, and I knew that it was time to let go. So I ended up breaking up with this guy. And mind you, at the time, I was into some stuff myself, like into some legal trouble at the time. Now, I get a lot that, oh, you have been through this, but most of the time, and see, God will cover you, because when people look at me, a lot of people don't think that I have a background. but I do have a background. You know what I'm saying? And can't nobody use that against me because God has already delivered me from that. And He says in His Word that all things, and I mean all things, will work together for the good of them who love the Lord and are called according to His purpose. So nobody can ever use anything that I've ever been through against me because He's using those things to develop me. So I was already into some legal situation, and I just told God, listen, I'm trusting you. I don't care how you do it. I don't care what city you do it in, but deliver me from this situation. And so in panic mode, because at the time I didn't know as much as I know now. I wasn't as spiritually awakened back then as I am now, but still in panic mode with anxiety kicking in and all of these things, I decided to leave the city. My dad had, or my stepmom actually had invited me to their place. So I ended up leaving the city knowing that I was already going through some things legally. But I also was preparing myself and preparing my children for a time that I would have to go away. So, long story short, God covered me in that situation and I was able to leave that situation. And it wasn't simple, right? Ladies, when we are in domestic violence situations, we know that there are narcissistic people that are always trying to intimidate us. And that was a part of the story as well, where I decided once I ended up having to go back to my hometown, he had a gun, and I told myself that I wasn't going to be intimidated. Like at that time, it almost like I had developed a David mentality, right? I didn't have much, you know what I mean? I didn't have a slingshot or anything like that, but I had the word of God in my heart. And so I allowed that to be my, my GPS. So anyway, I broke up with this person and I spent some time alone and by myself for a while. Ladies, I want to point out something. And this is not even just for the ladies. This is for anybody just in general. And we're going to get to it a little bit further down the line. But just because you're single doesn't mean you're working on you. Just because you're single doesn't mean you're healing. I just want to put that out there because a lot of people feel like, oh, I've been single for 3, 4, 5 years. I've been working on myself. I've been healing. Just because you are single, you are alone does not mean you are actually healing, because just because you don't have a partnership doesn't mean that you are doing the actual inner work that it requires to actually heal and take you to that next level. Because a lot of times we will distract ourselves with something else. See, sometimes, and even in the word, it says that, basically saying that a relationship is a distraction. If you're not careful, it can be a distraction. And so if you're not partnered with the right people, it can be a distraction. So just because you're by yourself does not mean that you are actually healing. Sometimes you distract yourself with other things, right? And so I just wanted to kind of point that out there because a lot of people think just because you single and you by yourself, you healing. And that's not necessary. You could distract yourself with many things, whether it's, friends, family members constantly going out, you distract yourself from actually doing the root work that's necessary to align yourself with the love that God has for you, or with the partnership that God has for you. But so I broke up with this person and spent some time by myself, spent some time in my word. And I had been single for at that time. Well, I had been dating on and off, people just, and then at one point I was like, you know what, I'm just going to be by myself. So I decided to be by myself. So years down the line, I ended up getting into another relationship, and this relationship was equally as toxic. And now it wasn't abusive, like he never put his hands on me or anything like that, but it was equally as toxic. This relationship was different for me because by the time he came into my life, I was emotionally available. I didn't know at the time, dealing with people before him, that I wasn't emotionally available. And so by this time I was emotionally available. And when everything happened the way that it happened, I spent 2 years with this person, and everything happened the way that it happened. It was very emotionally devastating. It was devastating. But in that moment, it like God changed some things around. And I'll get into my story later on. Listen, by the way, if you guys want to go deeper with your healing and you want to learn more about me, because I am, open book and don't mind sharing my story, make sure you tap the link in my bio to grab the masterclass, because I'm also going to be building a community, so make sure that you tap the link in my bio. But I ended up being in a relationship that was worse than the abusive relationship that I was in. Why? Because this one was based on emotions. This one actually had me open emotionally. And I told myself that I wanted to sit in this pain. I wanted to sit in this embarrassment. I wanted to sit in this anxiety, whatever it was that I was feeling. I wanted to sit in it because I needed to figure out why I keep attracting these type of people. And I want somebody to understand, hear me clearly when I say this. It's not about you attracting the wrong person. It is about you feeling like you have to accept the wrong person. Everybody always talk about light and darkness. Let me tell you something. Darkness only has its value because of light. So if you know that you are a light worker, if you know that God has called you to do something, if you know that you like to heal people and you like to help people, it's natural for you to you to attract a toxic person or a dark person, because opposites attract. The problem is what you accept. The problem is what you choose to align yourself with. So understand this. Just because you attract a toxic person or you attract somebody that is not in alignment with your goals, with your dreams, with your aspirations, does not mean that you continuously are in a loop. You're only in a loop when you allow yourself to accept less than what you deserve. And so for me, I had become a rehabilitation center for toxic men, because the old folks say you are what you attract. I never knew how true that was. No, I didn't put my hands on nobody. I did when I had to defend myself, but I didn't put my hands on nobody. I may have not initiated the issue, but I did enable the person and the behavior. And so once I broke up with the second person, I realized that there is something in me that is broken that keeps accepting this type of behavior. And once I realized that, I had to ask God. God revealed to me that love is not toxic. If God is love and God has this unconditional love about for his children, this unconditional love about himself, what on earth would make me think that love is toxic? The only thing that can make me think love is toxic is the constant patterns that I see in the people that I choose to accept. So the question isn't, is love toxic? The question is, why do I keep accepting low vibrational people? And this is not even just, uh, about men. You know what I'm saying? It can be friendships. It can be, family relationships. It can be, job related situations. It's not just like a regular relationship. You know what I mean? So once I found out about the infidelity, I had to come to the realization, Tiana, this is not going to stop unless you stop it. It's not going to change unless you change it. You're going to continue to accept this type of behavior because it's all that you know. It's all that you know. And so when I look at my word, the word says that God is love. And so if God is love, why am I accepting something that's less than what God has given me? Why am I accepting something that's less than what God has said is mine? If love is patient and love is kind, but this person is toxic and this person is disrespectful and this person is calling me out my name and this person is acting all types of chaotic in front of my children and my family members and cheating, and who told you that that's love? That is a cultural thing. Love is patient, love is kind, and yet I'm still dealing with low vibrational people. Something about me is accepting this type of behavior. And that's what I want my women to understand. A lot of times we sit there and we blame the man. And listen, I have a sister, I have a sister who, my god sister, she's always like, men ain't shit. Men ain't shit. Listen, I'm not a part of that crew. I have always said that. I am not a part of that crew. I have dealt with some toxic people in my life. Yes, Lord. I have dealt with some toxic people in my life. But let me tell you something. To say all men are the same is a block on your heart posture. That is a block on allowing what God has for you or who God has for you to come in. I am not that girl. I am not that girl. So many women, the women are like, I don't need a man and this independent. And don't get it twisted. I'm interdependent. I depend on God. I trust in God. I trust that everything that I need, he has for me. But never mistake the fact that I need a man. And I don't mean need a man like financially and all of that stuff like that. But God didn't put us on this earth to be alone. And so when people are just like, oh, when women are like, oh, I don't need a man. No, I just feel like that's a cop out not to take accountability for your relationships or your involvement in the downfall of your relationship. You may have not caused a problem, but you enabled the behavior. So now we have to set some boundaries. We have to set some standards for ourselves. We have to honor those red flags that we feel instead of just acting like we ain't never, you know what I'm saying? I have an ex, his brother once told me, I was telling him what, me and his brother was going through. And he said to me, he said, is he acting out? Is this new behavior, or has he been like this entire time and you just overlooked it? I was like, you might be onto something. At the time I was like 17. I was like, you might be right. You might be right. You know what I mean? And so, anyway, listen, but our word says that God is love. So understand that if that's the biblical truth, if that's my truth, if God is love, then that means that toxicity doesn't come from God. God is not the author of chaos, confusion, and conflict. That's not his rope. That's not his stilo. That's not what he do. So if you are in a situation where somebody is toxic, if you're in a situation where somebody is constantly calling you out your name, constantly, being disrespectful to you, your children, your family, or whatever, that's not from God. You might want to reevaluate some things. You might want to ask yourself, where is this coming from? Where is this coming from? Sorry. But you might want to ask yourself, where is this coming from? What in me is allowing myself to accept less than what God has given me? When you look into First Corinthians, chapter 13, verses 4-8, when it talks about what love is, that's the true anatomy of love. Love is kind, love is patient. Let's go to the word real quick. Love is patient. Love is kind. It does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It does not dishonor others. It is not self-seeking. It is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongdoing. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always preserves. Love never fails. And so if that's my biblical truth, if that's what God is telling me, that love is patient, love is kind, then why am I accepting less than what I deserve? Who said that love was toxic? That's a cultural thing. Love is not toxic. Nowhere in my Bible does it say that love is toxic. Nowhere in my word does it say that love is toxic. Understand something, that the enemy comes to steal, kill, and destroy. He wants to destroy what love looks like for people, what love actually is. And that's why, and I believe that is why, because we have these constant, relationships that constantly fail. We're like, okay, love, this relationship is just toxic. Love is just toxic. And it's like, no, I believe that the enemy wants you to believe that love is toxic. The enemy wants you to believe and steal your idea, God's idea of what love actually is. God came to give us an abundant life. I mean, Jesus came to give us an abundant life. So, if that is true, why are you accepting less than what you deserve? And so I've come to the conclusion, God had to reveal to me that toxic love is not toxic. That is a cultural thing. Let's dismantle the cultural, that cultural mindset, right? That perception that love is toxic. Patterns are toxic. Patterns are toxic. That thing that you continue to do over and over and over and over again as on autopilot. The one that comes in, you allow somebody to come in, they love bomb you, baby, I love you, baby, I want to be with you, and you feel that intensity, and then all hell breaks loose. And you may be one of the ones that's strong enough to actually walk away from a situation like this as soon as you see it for what it is, right? But then another one comes along and do the same thing, and you accept that relationship. That is a pattern. And patterns are what causes cycles. So a lot of people just be like, let's just break the cycle. No, let's break the pattern. The pattern is what's at the root. So when you can dismantle the pattern, you can dismantle the cycle. You can stop the cycle. You can start a new cycle. That's where generational wealth comes from. And I'm a firm believer that if we have generational curses, then that we dang sure got generational blessings. I'm a firm believer of that. But first, you have to be willing to dismantle what you call toxic love. It's a pattern, it's not the love itself. Love is a safe haven and is not a battlefield. And I think that that's part of the problem. We continue to talk about, these people or these relationships that we have, these partners that come into our lives. And it's like, God is love. You are a light worker. You are a healer. You are meant to be in a divine connection, period. I don't care what the enemy tries to tell you. I don't care what society says. I don't care what your relationships have been like. You were made to be in a divine connection that is in alignment with what God has for you. Understand something. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you have been through. If you attract toxic people, that's attracting a toxic person ain't the problem. That's not the issue. The issue is that you continue to accept the BS. You continue to accept the toxic behavior. Let me tell you something what I had to learn from my past relationships. Okay. Their behavior was real toxic. I'm talking about to the point where one time I was in a car with a dude and I fell out of the truck. It was my truck. I fell out of the car while it was moving. And bro was speeding. He was just acting crazy. But what I had to learn is it's not about the person being toxic and treating you wrong. When you're with somebody and they won't treat you wrong, that is toxic. But when you're with somebody and they won't treat you wrong, won't treat you right, and you stay with them, that's equally as toxic. And I'm a firm believer in accountability. So if you're not holding a gun to my head, and listen, I've been held up at gunpoint. But if you're not holding a gun to my head, I don't have to stay here. I don't got to be in this relationship. I don't got to be in this situation. It is a choice. So you choose what you want to entertain. Now, some of y'all like that toxic behavior. Some of y'all like being drained. Let me tell you what I've learned. Okay. A lifeless person can't do nothing but suck the life out of you. That's it. A lot of y'all expecting love from people who don't even have it within themselves. A lot of y'all are expecting, this type of, y'all romanticize the type of relationship that y'all want with people who don't even have it within themselves. The standard for love is God, yourself, and then whomever you with. That's why it says, love thy neighbor the way you love yourself. It starts with you. It starts with you, period. And I don't think a lot of people get that. Oh, give me a second. But yeah, I don't think a lot of people understand that it starts with you, right? Y'all willing to accept any and everything and then get mad. It's like you going to the bank and and I know I ain't the only person that's been there before. It's like you going to the bank, right? For those of y'all joining, please don't forget to actually share this live so that it can reach the people that it needs to reach, and we can just kind of push this out. Hi, Nicole. So we can actually push this live out. But listen, a lot of y'all are expecting things from people that don't have what you're asking for. So, say for instance, you go to a bank, and let's say you're trying to get you like $50, right? You done paid all your bills, though. You done did what you had to do or whatever. You only got about $20 in your bank account, but you know you need 50 for whatever the case may be. And you go there, and the bank teller or the ATM says insufficient funds. They can't give you what you don't have in your account. So why are y'all are trying to get this genuine love from a person that don't have it within them, because they don't even show themselves the type of love that y'all looking for? You get what I'm saying? You tracking with me? They don't even got the love that you want, but you willing to stay because you think that you can make them change, or you feel like if you love them enough, they'll love you back the same way. But again, if they don't got it to give to themselves, how they gonna give it to you? Where they gonna get it from? You get what I'm saying? And these are experiences that I've had. These are, lessons that I had to learn over time. And I'm not gonna lie, when I broke up with old boy, my very last relationship, for a minute I thought it was punishment, because after a while, when you keep going through the same thing over and over and over again, unconsciously, you're not subconsciously not even you going through it, but you're not even thinking, you're not even putting together the pieces for why you're going through this thing. You're just going through it because your brain is on autopilot. And so you ask yourself, why am I constantly going through this? And you think to yourself that God is punishing you. You got to understand that it's not punishment. Singleness is protection. A lot of people are single, and I said this earlier, a lot of people are single and just be like, oh, I'm single, I'm by myself, I've been, I'm just want to be by myself. But what are you doing while you are single? A lot of y'all waiting on y'all husbands. Okay, cool. You can wait on your husband. But what does that look like for you? What does waiting look like for you? It's all about a heart posture. You can wait on your husband, wait on your spouse, and still be toxic, still be negative, still have a negative mindset. So what does you being single look like for you? Single is not a state of just being. It is a state of actually doing. It's a state of actually healing. It is allowing yourself to create space for the right person to come in. It's protection. It's not rejection. And a lot of people feel like just because they are in, a single season, it's, hey, baby cakes. Is this Franny? I'm good. I hope y'all doing all right. I'm gonna need for you to inbox me a phone number. Hey girl, I'm gonna need for you to inbox me a phone number so that we can link up. We come to my house because I need something to do other than be on live. How are the babies? But it's not punishment, it's protection. And God had to hello. God had to show me that he was protecting my heart, that is about me being in alignment with what he has for me. And listen, I'm okay with that. Why? Because what I've been doing ain't working. And it's not so much as that I'm not hard up for a relationship, but these are the things that I've learned over time, right? When we call love toxic, we give it a bad name. We give it a bad name, and then we instantly decide to shy away from it. Oh, these men, oh, these women. And it's just like, that's not the reality of it. That's your reality of it if you if you continue, you know what I'm saying, to put those things out there. What I'm also learning too is it's important what goes in your mouth, but it's also important what comes out of it. It's important what comes out of it, because what you say shapes your identity. It shapes your reality. So you got to be mindful in, oh girl, listen, wait till they become teenagers, because you know, mine are teenagers, and baby cakes, they I be want to fight them, Franny. You need to come get them. That's what you need to do. You need, they can babysit Dior and Mason. You know what I'm saying? They can, but they fine. They ready to go back to school. Are you, like, are the babies? Are you? We're gonna have to talk outside of this live, because I wanna, make sure you all right. And because I want to say is the baby's in school, but I don't know if you want to put that out there. I just don't know if they like in daycare or whatever, because they can always come here. We gotta talk outside of the live. I'm gonna DM you my number, and yeah, so we can link up for real. But listen, it also says, I see you over here on YouTube. Hi. It also says an unmarried woman is concerned about the Lord's affairs. Her aim is to be devoted to the Lord in both body and spirit. So, what are you doing while you are single? Being single is not just a state of doing. It is, I mean, not just a state of being. It's a state of doing. When you are single and you are about God's work, God is preparing your temple and upgrading your soul, awakening you to things, reminding you of things. You're getting into alignment with. First, he needs to clear up all of that. Ugh. Right. And then he's going to give you, he's going to align you with his vision for your life. And I think that's the biggest issue, right? Because we are humans, right? So naturally we want to be in control. And it's like when you walk with God, at the end of the day, you're giving him control. This is saying, I release all my control to you. That's what that's saying. I can release all of my control to you. That means you no longer control the narrative. And that's tough, because everybody want to control the narrative. Everybody want to tell God what they want, what I want to do. Hi, Chris. We stay in Ellington, been in our own place and stuff, man. They're gonna start. Girl, I know you happy. Listen, I know you are happy that they are starting. I can't wait for my kids to go back to school. I am beyond ready. You hear me? Like I'm beyond ready. My soul is tired. Like we are tired. But that's good. I'm happy for y'all. And we still need the link, because again, I need something to do. So outside of my kids, girl, listen. Hi, Libra girl. Thank you for the likes. Y'all be sure to share this though too, because I want to bring awareness to, the collective. And this is just for the ladies who are ready to break the toxic patterns, are ready to break the toxic relationship cycles. Like I said earlier, patterns are something that's our brain is on autopilot. It's a predictable sequence of events. It's just something that we just naturally do. And then, like I said, we think that it's just, we like this toxic relationships, and we don't. Don't nobody want to be in a relationship all the time when you got to constantly fight, argue, scream. You got to always prove your point. I had my last relationship. My dude, he had like a deep voice, and it just like boom even when he would speak softly, it would just boom. And I already have a soft voice, and I feel like I always got to be on my Mariah Carey just to get my point across, and that's tiring. Don't nobody want to do that all the time. You get what I'm saying? Nobody. I don't want to be in a situation that's going to cause me to shrink, that is going to cause me to, you know what I'm saying, have my throat hurt, and it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Like, nobody got time for that. But so yeah, in your singleness, what God is doing, he is clearing out all of that stuff. You're gonna retract, you're gonna those memories, those times of, oh, I remember when we used to do X, Y, and Z. God is gonna reveal some things to you, and He's gonna reveal not just some toxicity from that other person, but also the toxicity that you carry. Because, like I said, it's not just about you. It's not just about the person and their behavior. It's also about what you are willing to accept. You got to ask yourself, why am I always accepting somebody who talk down on me, who put their hands on me, who disrespect me? Something in you needs to be fixed as well, right? Because light is attracted to darkness, period. I don't care what nobody tells me. Everybody always says that uh why, like I hear people asking this constantly. Why do I always attract men who cheat, or men who, the question is why do you keep accepting men who cheat? It's not why you accept low vibrational people. I mean, it's not why you attract low vibrational people. Understand this: darkness is attracted to light. Darkness only has its value because of light. So if you are naturally a woman who has this aura, who walks and shines through and through. And I know some of y'all understand where I'm coming from, because I know that somebody out there who they've been like, somebody has said to them, you have this aura about you. You have this glow about you. Ain't even pregnant, but you have this glow about you. You're going to attract a toxic person. You're going to attract darkness. Understand, hear me clearly when I say this. You're going to attract a toxic person. That's natural. The question is why do you keep accepting the toxicity? Why do you keep accepting the low vibrational people? Why? That is what we need to fix. That is what we need to address. It's not so much as that you just like a toxic person. Don't nobody want to be with a toxic person. I'm just gonna be honest. Don't nobody want to go through all that hell. Don't nobody want to have to argue all the time. Don't nobody want to have to pick up the phone and wonder where you are and why you ghosted me, why you ain't called me back. Nobody want to have to go through that. So the question isn't why you keep attracting toxic people. The question is why you keep accepting it. What in you needs to be fixed? What in you feels that you are not worthy of somebody that treats you with respect, that loves you unconditionally? And I had to look around and I saw how God had blessed me so much. And Brandon can attest to this. I love you, girl. That I was in a shelter with my 4 kids with nothing. I lost everything, right? I lost everything. And God, slowly but surely, after He had done the work within me to remove the toxicity and to increase my capacity to hold the things that he was getting ready to bless me with, slowly but surely I got a better job. I ended up getting a car. I ended up moving. And when I thought, okay, I'm finally in my place, me and him can finally have some one-on-one, there was so much unseen resistance. And I was just like, where is this coming from? Because we've been together for 2 years, and it was God protecting me. And that's what I found out about the infidelity and all of that thing. He was never meant to come into this part of my life. And that's okay. That's okay. I had to be okay with that. So what I'm telling you, God is preparing your temple and He is upgrading your soul. He is increasing your capacity for a healed man. He's increasing your capacity for real love, for the love that He has for you. I don't know about somebody, but nobody else, but I want the kind of love that God has for me. If who I am with, if their love does not reflect what God has for me, I don't want it. If it doesn't reflect the kind of love that God has for me, I don't want it. I'm not interested in it. I'm not saying you got to go buy me a house and a car and all of those things, but I need to sense God's presence on you. You gotta have Him on you like you wearing His, like He's your cologne. Everybody talks about how men are and this and that, but my ladies, my sisters, why are we accepting less than what we deserve? That's the real question. It's not about why we keep attracting negativity, why we keep accepting it. That's what we need to figure out. That's the thing that you need to touch on. And so if this, live resonated with you, listen, I have a masterclass, okay, where I talk about this in depth and we do the root work. It's not just about talking, we actually doing the root work. And so if you're interested in that masterclass, you can click the link in my bio. Make sure you double tap the live and get this live a like, and also share. Follow me for more, faith-based content and real girl talk. Let's have conversations. Let's normalize having conversations that are tough, right? The ones that we avoid, but we need to have. Because it's really time to do the root work. Okay. I want y'all to understand that nothing is too hard for God. And here's another thing, and I'm gonna say this and I'm gonna get up off of here. Do not think that your past disqualify you. Don't think that you are just so far gone that God can't do nothing with you. Oh, I've been in this. Listen, I remember when I was in an abusive relationship and I broke up with old boy, and he kept coming to my house, and he ended up trying to intimidate me with a gun. And I'll never forget, he ended up coming to my house with a gun and kind of threatening me, and the gun went off and he shot himself in the foot. Now that is God's covering. He shot himself in the foot. And I remember thinking the day after, this is what my life is going to be like. I guess I'll never just be in a regular, normal relationship. This is what my life is just going to be like because I can't get rid of this dude. I remember feeling that low. Stop thinking your past disqualify you. It doesn't. The Bible says that God can do all things, not some things. It's not that he's going to bless you in one area and forget about you in another. God will do all things work together for the good of them who love the Lord and are called according to his purpose. And that's the part that everybody's forget. This is about his purpose. It's not about your purpose. And so as long as you are walking in step with the Holy Spirit and you are allowing God to lead you, you can't go wrong. And yeah, you're going to have some sacrifices. And yeah, you're going to have to make some sacrifices. And yeah, you probably ain't going to be you probably not even going to be with the person that you want to be with. But that's okay. Because again, that's God's protection. You can't see what God can see. I truly believe that God goes before us. You can't see what God can see. You don't know the thoughts, the private thoughts of a person. You get what I'm saying? Tracking with me? You don't know what God has for you. So don't disqualify yourself because you've experienced some heartache. You've gone through some hardships. You've had heartbreak. You've dealt with, shady friends and shady family members and all of that stuff. God still has something for you. You just have to trust and obey. Trust and obey. Listen, my name is Tiana Venice. I will be going live probably every day until God tells me not to. 5 a.m. and 11 a.m. 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Again, I have a masterclass. Click the link in my bio if you want to go further on breaking these toxic patterns and just reinventing ourselves, right? Going to get the inheritance that God has for us, not just settling for what's in front of us, but going for what we actually want. Remember, and never forget that you plus God is always enough. I love y'all, and I will talk to y'all on the next one. Bye. All right.